Hello, my name is Megan Micklewright, also known as the Savvy Spender, award-winning financial influencer helping people to make and save money every day.
Hello, I'm Anita Naik. I'm the savings expert at VoucherCodes, and I write many of the blogs on personal finance and how to save on your everyday purchases. At VoucherCodes, we're passionate about saving you money, so we've done some research into your financial well-being to find out what areas you want to hear more about and how we can help you. So today we're going to talk about budgeting, societal pressures, emotional spending, and how to become more financially literate. So let's get into it.
So loud budgeting is a trend that's actually arose and grew from social media and the younger generations starting to talk about their finances more loudly and proudly and taking control of their finances and being able to talk more freely with their friends and family about their finances, their struggles and their financial goals.
When it comes to money, I think there are a lot of societal pressures around everybody that help you spend money, even when you don't want to spend money. 1 in 10 people spend money because they feel they've got to keep up with the Joneses, so to speak. And I think this is where social media actually comes in quite a lot, because it makes you feel like you've got to be a certain way, look a certain way, have certain elements in order to be, especially if you're a parent, as example, like if you're a young parent or a parent, you think that you've got to have all these must-have things that you really don't need. And it's really, really hard to set boundaries sometimes.
Yeah, and social media is so prevalent in everybody's life now, and it's never been easier to see what other people are doing, and that can make you feel like you have to be doing something else, whether you're a parent or you even being pregnant and thinking, wow, there's so many new gadgets, do I need this? I'm going to be a new parent, I don't know what I need to have, and you end up this impulse spending because you're seeing all these things on social media. But not only that, it's seeing other people's lifestyles and people that you've maybe grown up with, gone to school with, and thinking, how are they living this lifestyle?
Oh, absolutely.
And feeling like, like you said, keeping up with the Joneses and feeling like you have to live like that, or what am I doing wrong in my life because I'm not living like that? When actually, when it comes to social media, we're all guilty of it. We show our highlight reel. We only show what's on the surface, and actually you don't know what's going on behind that. And that could be that someone is in a lot of consumer debt for the lifestyle they are keeping up just for social media, or maybe they come into inheritance. You never know someone's financial background.
Oh, completely. And that goes for friends as well. You never know what their financial background is. You never know how much money they don't or do have. And people can spend, and you can think, God, they must be earning about 100 grand a year. And actually they're not. But it then becomes really difficult when you're out with them to set boundaries around your own spending. Like, you can't afford like £150 on a really nice bag that your friends bought, or you can't afford to go to like an expensive dinner with 10 of your friends that, ends up being like, nearly £70 a head. And it can feel like you're failing, can't it?
Yeah, and I think that's where loud budgeting comes in, being confident in talking about money with the people around you, because money is such a taboo subject when it shouldn't be, because whether we like it or not, it literally runs the world, and all of our lives revolve around money. Every day we spend money, every day we have to pay bills, every day we have to earn money, and it literally revolves, the world revolves around money. So being able to talk about it freely and openly with the people around us can really, really help ease the pressure.
I think it's really important to be loud about your budget with your friends, and it's not always easy, is it, to say, I can't afford things, or I'm not going to buy these things. But as you say, be loud and proud about it.
Yeah, and sometimes it can feel awkward. One of the big things that always comes up is splitting the bill. And being a non-drinker, it's something that really frustrates me, because when you're out with people who are buying £10 cocktails and you're just having water, not even because you're trying to save money, but because that's just what you like to drink. And it comes to the end and everybody wants to split the bill when actually you ate and drunk considerably less, but you don't want to be the person to say, oh, well, actually, can we pay for what we had? When really, if these are your friends and your family, you should be able to talk about that openly and loudly. And actually, are you the one being awkward? You just want to pay for what you spent, and other people are actually expecting you to pay for a bit of what they had. And is that fair?
I think what really helps in that situation, because I don't drink either, is being upfront about it right at the beginning, saying, I'm going to just have my own bill because I'm not going to drink, and I don't want you guys to feel bad. So kind of put it on them
Yeah, no,
and actually say it right from the beginning so you
Yeah.
know where you stand. Because at the end, when everyone's a little bit merry and you feel awkward at the end, don't you? And you want to get home.
Yeah.
But I think setting boundaries right from the beginning that are really clear and firm can really help.
You've hit the nail on the head with that, you know, setting the boundaries from the beginning. And that can be with anything, not just splitting the bill, you know, at Christmas time. And I hear it a lot at Christmas time that you feel like you need to buy certain people presents. And, were they buying me a present this year because I don't want to buy them anything? It's just another person to buy for. And, you know, just be honest about it and open and say, you know, look, this year I'm only buying for my kids. I'm not looking to buy for the extended family. We can all see each other, and just being open about it and honest. And the more we talk about money, the less it becomes a taboo.
I completely agree. And I think it's about also setting boundaries with your children. If you've got children, whether they're little or older, there's a lot of pressure from society to spend, especially at Christmas and birthdays on your kids. How much are you buying your kid? What are you buying your kid? I'm buying them an iPad, all these different things. Is to say to your kids, look, this year we're going to save some money, we're going to go on holiday, so we're going to spend less on presents, or you might not get 3 presents, you'll get 2 big ones, or something like that. So it also teaches your kids that it's fine to set boundaries around money.
And another thing that I think is really important is making sure that when you are talking to people about money, you are sure on what your overall goal is, because everybody's financial situations are different. We've touched on this, but everybody's goals are different as well. So maybe somebody likes splashing out on, say, designer clothes. Maybe other people like buying their kids a lot of presents, but maybe you're somebody that's more about experiences and you'd prefer to go out with your kids and not buy them as many presents. And you can't ever compare yourself, and that's why it's so important to not keep up with the Joneses, because their priorities may be so different to yours.
I think so. And I think actually a lot of people I've found, when I've spoken to friends, find it really refreshing to talk about finances, because I think in this country we're all very secret squirrel about finances, aren't we? We can't say how much we earn, we can't say how much we spend or what we're paying for our holiday. But being honest about your boundaries or your budget with people, they can find it quite refreshing, and they will start telling you what their boundaries are.
Yeah. I actually think it's really refreshing to talk about money, because, and I actually did some content around this recently, that, you know, are you someone that shies away from talking about money, or do you talk about it loudly and openly and proudly? Because actually talking about money can help us share issues, but it can also help us make more money. You know, for example, if you're in the same job as somebody else and you talk about your salaries, you can actually realise that you're being way underpaid for what you're doing. Or maybe you're having an issue with money and you're stuck in some debt and you don't know the best way out of it. Talking about it can actually help you find a solution.
I agree. I think becoming more transparent about money helps break down some of these societal pressures, because you can say, you know, I just find it really hard to keep up with everybody. I find it really hard to save for Christmas because everybody's expecting me to buy them presents. And your friends and your family can say the same, and you can come up with a really good solution that stops you all overspending.
Yeah, and when you actually bring it up, you'll be surprised at how many people actually say, I'm so glad you said that, because I was feeling the same. And we had this a couple of Christmases ago where the first person spoke out about it and said, look, I'm not buying for anybody this year. So many people said, I'm so glad you said that, because I don't want to buy for anybody this year either. And that's fine. It doesn't mean you're a Scrooge. It just means that you've got different priorities. You want to spend your money on going out around Christmas. And Christmas especially is such an expensive time anyway, with loads of different social events going on, having to buy new outfits for them social events, if you've got kids, buying them presents. And it's already, you know, a big money hoarding event. So buying for people that you don't necessarily want to buy for, we need to be open about these things.
Oh, I agree. I find weddings and hen parties and things like that very, very expensive. And now lots of people, they go abroad for their hen parties, and it's just too expensive to spend for a week away in terms of time and money. And it's really hard to tell your friends, especially if they're a really good friend, that you can't afford it. But, you know, saying it is, again, really refreshing, because you feel kind of freed from that pressure, don't you, when you say, and you're honest about what you feel.
And one of the biggest things for me is, if these are your close friends and families, they should never make you feel pressured into spending money. And if somebody is making you feel like that, then maybe you should look at the people around you. You know, it's never easy to talk about money. And if somebody opened up to me about money, I'd actually really respect them for that. But if somebody makes you feel bad for that, then maybe you shouldn't be around that person. So that's completely a big takeaway for me.
And going back to social, if, you know, like with influence and stuff, if you are being influenced by someone and you keep thinking, oh, I really love the way they look, I'm her age, or I have that lifestyle, I want to be more like her. I mean, it's so hard, but you should stop following them, because if they're forcing you to spend money, and they're not forcing you, they're influencing you, aren't they? When you're an influencer, you know that it's kind of switching off, isn't it, really?
And that's it. That's something that I say a lot to people, that you are in control of what you consume, and it's not bad to unfollow people or restrict people if they're making you feel a certain way. I've unfollowed so many people in the past, and it's nothing against them. It's just because their content is making me feel a certain way. And actually, I'm in control of my social media. Why am I following these people if they're making me feel like I need to keep up with them, look a certain way, feel a certain way? Actually, it's making me feel bad, so I'm going to unfollow them. And when you start to realise that actually you are in control, it makes you feel so much better.
And I think that translates over into life. You are in control of your finances. You can say no. And you should say no if it's something you really don't want to do, because there's nothing worse, is there, than spending money and then really regretting it. Thinking, God, I really needed that money and I just spent it on a night out that I didn't even want to go on.
And it's knowing how to say no as well. You know, you don't just have to be one of them people that says, no, I'm not going, I'm not spending, and make it awkward for everybody. You know, you can say, okay, I haven't got much money this time to go out. Why don't we go for a walk instead? Why don't you come round and we'll have a catch up? Or why don't we go to this place? It's a little bit cheaper. And putting alternatives in place rather than just saying no, because when you do say no, you start to feel restricted. But it's finding alternatives rather than just point blank saying no.
Yes, exactly. I totally agree.
My key takeaway when it comes to loud budgeting is always being confident in what you're saying. It's your boundaries and you should set them clearly and from the get-go, so everybody is always on the same page.
My key takeaway is that it's actually refreshing to bring up money, and people, and especially your friends who are on your, you know, basically on your side, will find it really refreshing for you to bring up money, talk about things honestly so they feel they can too. It just makes the whole subject of money just much easier for society as a whole if everybody starts talking about it. Thank you for joining us. We hope you found that beneficial. For more from Megan, head over to her channel at The Savvy Spender Official, and don't forget to hit follow, and head to us on social and let us know what you thought.